Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nobodies on the Noosphere, the much-awaited episode 2. It's been 2 fucking months. It's been so long, but we're back. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, TechFizz Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing very okay.
Oh boy, that's good. It's been so long, everything has changed. I've got a new audio setup, so I'll hopefully sound way better. The TechFizz doesn't, so, you know,
we have not talked in that time at all.
Yeah, no, not once. It's been 2 months of no communication, total radio silence. This is the only time we interact. Yeah, that's we're gonna keep up that law. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh god. In the last 2 months, yeah, all sorts of shit happened, you know. If you've been keeping up with my channel in general, then you'll know my old audio setup broke. I did a whole big, narrative arc about it where I got trapped under the desk. Then I got out of it, and I got this big, expensive new audio setup, and then I finished my movie. I made a movie, that's a thing, go watch that, it's the best thing ever. And, you know, since making that, it's been, 4 days now, I think. I haven't put out anything else. I put it on the main channel at least. I put out, some shitty solo podcast on the Fabricator channel that nobody watches. But I haven't done anything here, and I was thinking, and I've tried. I've got a few scripts ready. I've got the audio to another thing ready, and I don't know how I feel about it. I was thinking, how do you follow up? How do you follow up a video like Christmas Day, a movie made over the course of half a year of my life? How do I follow that up? And I thought, one solution: Nobodies on the Noosphere, of course.
It's a great podcast. It's very good.
It's a podcast.
At least better than the Chromasticators.
At least. They're fucking around now, they're bringing in new people, they're getting out people are leaving, coming back. I don't even know what's going on with them.
But you know what? We're stable. We are rock solid.
We are rock solid.
We know what we are.
It's
and
always,
we're the best at it.
Always just TechFizz Steve and Magos, but it's not actually, because we have a third person in this podcast right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have Voxskull. That is to say, there's a Discord bot that's recording a backup version of this that may be used if it sounds better. Probably won't.
Discord
probably sound like
servitor.
Yes, the Discord servo skull here. It's definitely a servo skull that's in the underground bunker, or that's patched into this sub network of the Noosphere that is used to record this podcast.
Thank you, Servo Skull. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. All right then. What do we do? What do we do on?
Very
this podcast?
charismatic, that Servo Skull.
Very. I mean, this is already. I'd say this is already one of the most charisma packed, saturated with pure, raw, unadulterated, charismatic charm 40k podcasts there are. Probably the best.
It's like syrup in a syrup pudding. Just seeps into it.
But now I feel like it's bursting at the seams now. The addition of a Voxskull is just it's seeping everywhere. It's seeping out.
I think at least we're going to double our views because of highly awaited guest. We've been talking about Servo Skull for a while.
Yeah.
About wanting him on the show, and we finally got him.
We finally
here
have, yeah.
With us.
This is amazing. It's amazing, truly. Nobodies in the Noosphere has been taken to the next fucking level. Wow.
Yeah. Magos will be sure to include a channel link to Voxskull's channel.
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to be putting out some great content pretty soon. Any day now, and any millennium now. What do we talk about here? 40k? This is a 40k podcast, right? We talk about Warhammer 40k on this, don't we?
Allegedly, I'm not sure.
I was a little bit worried because though I don't talk to you at all, through many hired spies, through many Sidonian tech assassins that I had hired to spy on you.
What's the term? Like through the grapevine?
Yes, through the grapevine, through the noospheric dark channels, through the many cyber ocularis I'd sent to spy on you. I noticed that for a while you sort of stopped caring about 40k entirely. That was a thing,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That was a bit of a worry for me, because I was worried that I was going to have to get someone new for my 2-man 40k podcast.
I know, and it would have been really tragic, because this podcast, it rakes in the views. Everyone is here for the 2-man team.
I mean...
of Tech Priest Steve.
Oh god, did you just reveal?
Nearly. Of Tech Priest Steve and Magos, much like Game Grumps. How
Much like
after
yeah,
Dontron left,
it just became bad.
it became bad.
I mean, some people still watch Game Grumps. I don't understand why.
No.
In my so humble opinion, Danny is a horrifying charisma vacuum, but some people like him, so I'm sure he's
Much
good.
unlike Voxgull.
Much unlike Voxgull, the just endless font of pure charm, pure personality.
Like, there's always the worry if you introduce a third man to the group that it's going to be a bit of a third wheel, whatever.
No,
not at all with Voxgull.
He's fitting right in here. Right. We all love good old Voxgull.
Yeah, he is contributing to the conversation
a lot,
perfectly.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
He doesn't talk over anyone. He knows his place. Voxgull.
So, but you did get back into 40k before we recorded this. Fortunately, thankfully,
yes.
for all the trillions of listeners too, the Nobodies on the Noosphere podcast, the one day eventually probably most popular Warhammer 40k podcast. You have gotten back.
I think we can already say
again.
that it's the best 40k podcast.
I'd say it's. I mean, what's the competition? Adeptus Podcastus. I'm gonna shit talk Adeptus Podcastus, but you know, listener, you know.
I mean, I think we can just say now we are the only podcast with Vox Skull on it. So it automatically puts us a skull above the rest.
Yeah. Talk about you getting out of 40k and getting back into 40k.
Okay, sure. So, when 8th edition came out, I looked at it. I was like, okay. My favourite unit, Rangers, was nerfed, and at that point I was. So I went home after seeing this. So I got my hammer, positioned up my Rangers, and I was, very close to just smashing them all into pieces.
The classic maneuver, the classic Age of Sigmar burn your army maneuver. Yeah.
I was sort of having half of them to smash and half of them, sort of poured light fluid on them.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, halfway through pouring light fluid and halfway through smashing it with a hammer, respectively, I had an epiphany. And that was, there's a AdMech specific book coming out, so that might be okay.
Yeah, there will be I-14 Further Swaxus and a Codex at some point.
Yeah, but I was kind of, even after I realised that, I was still a bit apathetic about it all, because I was like, 8th, it's okay, I guess. There wasn't any passion in it anymore.
Yeah,
there was no passion.
I feel like that is the thing. 8th has really there's a blandness to it. There's a flavorness to it. It's sort of it ain't the chunky mess that was 7th edition. But 7th edition, it was a mess. But it had personality. 8th, not
also,
really.
when I saw that neurostatic or enough, I just sort of cried deeply into my pillow.
Neurostatic or enough is
cried
so
myself to
fucking
sleep.
sad. The Night, on the Warhammer community site, they've revealed that the Night Lord, it's either their stratagem or something or their ability. Essentially, they've got a thing that reduces leadership by 3 in a fucking 6-inch or something, fucking aura. The Night Lords are just scarier than the neurostatic aura that fucking causes your eyes to bleed and your fucking ears to get fucking tinnitus instantly. The Night Lords are just scary enough to do that themselves.
Visible concern. Concern. In the new rules, it just makes your eyes water slightly when they move within striking distance of you.
Yeah, when these guys are right up in range of smacking you with their big fucking taser prod, it also gives you a little bit of a headache,
Ooh, smacking you with their big rod.
But oh well. I've got a video coming out on that maybe soon, unless I delete it, where I talk about how to fix all the rules and how I'd say they should fix all the rules of the Codex. But stay tuned for that. Subscribe to Magos _Sigma, great channel.
At least your boys, the Vanguard, came out unscathed.
Not quite unscathed, but they got a bit of a scratch with the radium weapons now being 2 wounds to the guy they hit, rather than irradiating the guy next to him, like the law explained very clearly, being how it works. It makes a rad storm, and the rad storm kills the guys that weren't even shot.
That's a shame.
Now it's just, I guess the bullets are doing that poisoning, and it only really helps against fucking when you're, spamming against Terminators and shit. But sure, it's fine. They're still way better than the Rangers.
Listen, what I'm trying to say is that my boys came off a lot worse.
They did. They came off in a real bad state. Essentially, the only way to run Rangers these days is 5-man squads with 2 Archvile and Omnispecs. Which, to be fair, was by far the best way to run them in 7th edition too, but now it's just the only way, unless you're just wasting points, right?
There's only one viable strategy.
Yeah, it used to be that was by far the most efficient strategy, and anything else was a bit iffy. Now it's a case of, that's just the only one you should ever be thinking about. Which, fair enough, right? I had 5 Rangers arrayed in that build already made, so, I'm okay. Ain't a problem for me, right?
Good for you then. I'm so happy for you.
I mean, the Arquebus it's a nice weapon now. The Arquebus is pretty good these days.
It's a nice model.
Yeah, I really like the Arquebus.
It's a shame that I do not have it on any of my Rangers.
Probably should put it on some Rangers. It's a giant elephant gun. It's an elephant gun in space that shoots even denser things than fucking depleted uranium. Even denser. So dense they couldn't even be bothered to come up with a name for it. They just called it not quite uranium.
It was very dense.
Very dense. These are some very heavy bullets. Alarmingly heavy bullets.
Every screen is just so dense. There's so much going on.
Oh boy. But yeah, that's the Skatar, as far as armor goes, it's pretty mixed bag. Some stuff came out pretty well. I mean, Electro Priests are the top tier anything killer. You want to kill characters, get Fulgrites. You want to kill something big, get Fulgrites. You want to kill anything with multiple fucking wounds, get Fulgrites. You want to get anything with a decent save, Fulgrites. Fulgrites are just your premier anything big killer.
I mean, I suppose it's quite handy then that in 7th I used Electro Priests because they look cool. Well, kind of. But
Electro Priests have some cool elements. Electro Priests, they're an iffy model. Their faces are all wrong, but they're okay.
Also, if I didn't use them, I'd have just robots in last edition because Cop Mech was a thing.
But that's the thing. I mean, I guess we should talk a bit about like the more recent news stuff about what VW's actually been doing.
I haven't finished talking.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still talking about something.
Go ahead then, most of the snippet.
I will.
Then. Sure, what were you fucking saying about this old fucking AdMech news that everyone already knows? Well, go ahead, Carl.
I was just saying that more recently I started painting some servitors and some what are they called? The big retro robots, the ones.
Cataphones are the servitors and are they Castellans or?
Castellans, yeah. I started painting some of them, and that's getting me back into it a bit, just because I think it's doing something different.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
good.
I'm sort of having them in a little squad with Cole, and he's doing his thing.
Oh boy,
that's heretic.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a bit. There's been some interesting lore stuff going on with him, I suppose. But as I was saying before, I was so rude interruption was re-interrupted.
Listen, I was going to try and segue it onto Cole, but no, it's fine. If you want to do your segue, that's fine. That's okay.
You want to do Cole? You want to do Cole? If you want to do Cole,
yeah, let's do Cole now. I set it up for the segue.
Okay,
let's do it.
Sure, that's fine. Let's do Cole. Okay, so Cole has had some interesting lore. He's had some interesting fluff development. Back in the Gathering Storm, you may remember he was the only guy that even slightly seemed like a half-interesting character, and it was entirely because of that one trailer where it had the guy that does the audiobooks. I think it was Toby Longsworth. It may have been someone else. Either way, it sounded a bit like him doing it, and he said, "I have failed" in a Dalek voice, and everyone thought, "Oh wow, this guy almost has personality." And he was a cool, interesting character. And now they've made it... Then they did a bit... Then with 8th edition, they just made him sort of... Oh god, everything new is Cole. Why do we have all of this new shit? Cole did it. That's why. That's the excuse. But
Thank you, Belisarius Cole.
Yeah, but then... With the book Dark Imperium, they sort of saved it by making that actually part of the character of, I guess this is kind of fucked up how this one guy's doing all the shit, how he's basically a heretic at this point, he's doing AI shit, he's, like one of the bits was he asked Galliman just to make him Fabricator General, And Galliman said no, because all of the Admech hate you at this point. They all want you to die, and so Call can't be the fucking Fabricator General of Mars. So they're setting up a conflict there. They're setting up some interesting narrative stuff. It's good. It's almost like it's an actual setting with interesting stuff going on in it, and interesting characters going on in it, and guys that aren't just this guy invents all the shit.
I haven't actually read that. I think I'll read it. Sounds interesting.
Yeah,
sounds good.
It's actually okay. As far as ways you could, from a literary sense, fix the silliness that is all this Primaris stuff going about. I think they did an okay job of it from the bits I've read. I haven't read all of it myself yet, but I've read a few chunks of it. And yeah, they made an attempt. And yeah, Call's an interesting guy. You know, if I can be bothered to edit, I'll put in that one Spurdo meme. Because Call is not my Fabricator General.
He is, yeah, he's not my Fabricator General. You know. He's trying to gain leverage with Gilliman, but fair dues to Gilliman, who is having none of it.
Yeah, I mean,
he saw it as a liability to have a person leading Mars who everyone on Mars dislikes him immensely because he's a heretic.
Yeah, just saying, man and machine, not Primaris Marine. Okay, yeah. But it's interesting. It's a good conflict they get setting up. Like interesting. Like it goes into the politics of it. It goes into how it's sort of talked about like the only reason that Call has been put up for this long is because he's the only guy that is doesn't give a shit to the extent that he will put up with Gulliman's crazy ideas. Because no one else is going to be willing to do all this Primaris shit. But fucking Call's willing to do it, so Gulliman's keeping him around for that. It's interesting. It's an interesting character. Still kind of stupid how he's been alive for 10,000 years, and that's not even an issue,
Stuff to do with the politics of Mars, and even the sort of politics of the Imperium as a whole is always interesting.
Kind of the most interesting part. I mean, I'm not saying Binary Succession was kind of the best because it was just pure politics, but Binary Succession was kind of the best because it was pure politics, and the worst parts were the parts that weren't pure politics.
I mean, you had the bit with the electro piece when they just hit that woman with
and it was
electric sticks.
Kind of shitty, kind of out of place, and kind of didn't really flow for the whole thing.
No, it was just kind of out of nowhere that these electro priests were just there, and they were very, very angry.
Yeah, just saying, Imperium politics, especially Mechanicum at that time, politics, the best. Do more stuff about politics. But yeah, all right then. Is that the Call discussion done? Have we discussed?
Yeah.
The not my Fabricator General.
Did you actually? Right. I'm not sure if Magos brought this up, but the AI thing is basically Call has created this AI construct that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's made an AI called Call Inferior, and it's essentially so he can communicate with Gulliman without having to go through astropaths and shit. Essentially, the idea is Call Inferior will respond to how Call would. And just essentially a AI replicant, but it's totally AI. It's got warp shit going on with it. It is the textbook definition of heresy.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, but it is very heretical.
Very heretical. I mean, we were discussing. I mean, we weren't discussing.
We weren't discussing. We were both thinking about this independently, and it just so happens our thoughts were the same.
We both happen to have the idea that there's a really good opportunity to introduce like an orthodox Mechanicum character to play off against Call, just get a Myrmidon or a Malagra type guy who can be, another big Archmagos character, but it gives, some representation to show people that, the orthodox Mechanicum isn't just, the insert 40k theories as toaster memes here. Fuck. Oh god, makes me angry that that's a thing, but yeah.
2 shots have been fired.
Oh god, it's already starting. I'm already starting drama with people. I'm sorry to all the other people. It's just 40k theories, it's just 40k theories and 40k theories' podcast. But I'm sorry, I've learned how to invite you.
Did the Necrons, did the Iron Warriors have Necrons on the planet they went to?
We're not going to start. We're not starting drama. We're not doing this. Let's not do this. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's move on to the Primaris models.
It's fine. You can just edit that out.
Oh god. I'm not going to bother because it's funny. But okay, Primaris models. Look at the Primaris models. Get on the Games Workshop site. Look at these Primaris models. They've released a whole bunch of stuff. They've got their Primaris heroes. They've got the captain. They've got the librarian. They look great. They look lovely. They look really nice. Look cool. Prefer the helmeted versions, but that's just me. Even the unhelmeted Primaris Librarian looks pretty good. It's good, look real good, real nice, real pretty. The Redempted Dreadnought looks fat, he looks fat and he looks dumb. The Aggressors look very StarCraft and a bit fat and pretty dumb. The Reavers look...
The Dreadnought has put on weight.
Yeah, the Reavers, they look very silly. They look very silly indeed. Their skull faces do not look threatening at all. They look silly. They look like a 13-year-old's attempt to be cool and edgy. And it's edgy, but you know. There's the Repulsor, which has too many fucking guns in it. But it's almost really nice, but get rid of the turret. The turret should not be there. Put the Sponson where the turret is and get rid of the turret and get rid of all those stupid fucking missile boxes. Why are there boxes full of missiles? It's stupid.
It's more tactical. It's more tactical.
Very tactical. And there's the Apothecary, who's pretty good. He's got little servo arm bits on his back, and he's got a giant gene seed. Whatever, that's fine, I guess. And there's the Chaplain, who's just Reaper from Overwatch.
Yeah. The gene seed does look like part of the life cycle of the Xenomorph.
A little bit. It looks a little bit squiddy, but yeah. You know, he's okay. The Apothecary is pretty good. Chaplain there. That Chaplain there.
I might go crazy, and then I think it looks like the gene seed looks like it has eyes. It has like two big glowing eyes.
Then I don't think they're meant to look like eyes. If you look at like one of the above picture, if not the like 360 roundabout bit, but the one to the right of the above picture, you see there's 3 little globule bits. I think they're meant to be like weird glowy, genetic-y fat sack things. I don't know.
Genetic-y bits.
You know, insert biological jargon that is enough to make a layman assume that yeah, that'll do. Tachyon fields here. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's a bit.
But I mean, I don't think you've quite put enough emphasis on Reaper from Overwatch over here.
Yeah, the Chaplain's Reaper from Overwatch.
He's got skull buttons.
He's got skull buttons. Look at if you look at the inner, like the waistcloth, like the loincloth section of the literal trench coat, there are gaps showing that those skull bits on the outer bits are literally buttons. They're buttons. He buttons it up with those skull bits.
Also, he's got the same shotgun as Reaper from Overwatch.
Yeah, he has a pistol that looks like the shotgun from Overwatch. It's, yeah. Also, is Crozius. It's a spiky skull. It's a spiky like S&M looking skull.
Also, he's got 2 belts.
2 belts. Also, he's got
the
Iron Halo.
Hold in his girth.
He's got the Iron Halo angled forward to look like one of those shitty ones you have on the fucking school fucking nativity play, rather than actually looking like, you know, a Halo on armor. No, this is the school nativity play. Bit of wireframe, bit of like fucking gold cardboard paper, fucking shit.
Like if you look up the Primaris Marine Special Edition or whatever. It has art of Reaper from Overwatch over here, and like it really emphasizes how dumb the Halo looks. Like usually the Halos look like, you know, if you view it at the right angle, you can see that they're behind the head. You know, they look good.
You know, it's a circle around the head. It's meant to bring attention there. It's not meant to be a little floating halo above the head. It's not meant to look like that, because people realize if they tried to make it look like that, it would look silly.
Yeah, but it just looks quite ridiculous, and also it's too large and too spindly.
I think it would be okay if it were just angled right, maybe a bit lower. The thing is, it's too high up anyway.
I think it's just too wide. I think it's just too much.
I think it's a problem. I think this whole model is a problem.
He's going to teleport behind you.
He's going when that shotgun pistol runs out of ammo, he will drop it and draw another one from hammer space. So yeah, it's oh god, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Die.
Yeah, I mean, on the plus side, apparently the White Dwarf, the elite White Dwarf implied that one special distance space thing that you had to do like the stupid spend £200 worth of shit for their dumb promotional campaign to get the opportunity to buy it. Chaplain in Terminator armor will be available. maybe soon.
Also, look at his leg armor. It
Oh yeah,
it
his leg armor
goes inwards.
His leg armor has a concave shape to go inwards. I can only assume to look like a skeleton, to look like skeleton bones.
I was thinking that it's because he's very in touch with his feminine side, you know.
I mean, that sort of thing. You know, that was the thing with the Reavers. The Reavers look like they're wearing fucking shorts and boots, and it's the indent on it looks bad. The flared fucking GW don't understand the flared fucking grieve type things that the guys have, the Space Marines have. It's cool. It's cool. Stop trying to make it tactical. Space Marines are not tactical. They should never be tactical. This is why Raptors
The point of them
silly.
is that they are not tactical.
This is why people who do Raptors stuff always make it look silly, because they're Space Marines. They're in giant powered armor. Ah, God, but oh well. That's fine, I guess.
Their face is their cover. Whatever the thing is.
Yeah, my face is my shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's you know, thanks Games Workshop, you did it. But
I mean, the skull faces. I mean, it looks like it's trying to be like the fucking cringy things from Call of Duty Ghosts. You know, the ones with the skull things.
Yeah, it seriously looks like this is what a fucking. If you got a 13-year-old to make the coolest thing, the coolest, scariest thing, then they'd come up with a fucking Primaris Reaver. Yeah, it's like if you gotta get a 13-year-old who doesn't know shit about 40k, show him a Space Marine, and now tell him make it really cool, and he'll make a Reaver. He'll make it bigger. He'll make it tactical. He'll add pouches. He'll add a fucking skull mask. Oh god, they do this.
And I think the same thing happened with the Chaplain, except first they showed him Reaper from Overwatch.
Yeah, except I mean, for the Chaplain they just said, yeah, you know Reaper from Overwatch. That's like a Space Marine version of him.
They just said, "What's your Sonic OC? Can't you make that into a Chaplain?"
This is my homebrew Chaplain, Cold Steel the Chaplain. When he was getting trained by the Ecclesiarchy, he wasn't like all the other chaplains because he was way more powerful and strong. Oh, God.
And because of that, they disowned him.
Yeah, he disowned him.
They said, "No, you're too powerful." And then he became rogue, and he's going on his own path, a very mysterious path.
Yeah. Oh God, why would they do this? Why would they make this? How could this happen?
I mean, possibly our theory is completely accurate. 100% accurate.
I mean,
that's actually what they did.
The thing is, this guy was designed by Jez Goodwin. I've seen the concept art by Jez Goodwin, and it just makes me sad. I've
what, for the Chaplain or for the Reavers?
For the Chaplain. I don't know about the Reavers, but for the Chaplain. I've rooted for you, Jez. I've rooted for you. I said you're the cool guy in my award-winning video that nobody watched about the Miniatures of the Gathering Storm. I said you were great, and
did he design all the miniatures for that, or just some of them?
I know he designed. He was involved in designing Belisarius Call. I know, and
I mean, for all we know, he could have just done the pregnant belly pit.
No, because we've seen the concept. We've seen the concept art drawn by Jez that it was based on. So yeah, we know that he designed that, and he was in charge of, like, all the fucking cool as hell Dark Eldar models. He was behind all of them, and a whole bunch of the fucking 2015 AMAC release was basically him too. And oh god.
So how did this happen?
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. What's happened to him? What's happened? My boy, Goodwin, my boy. What are you doing? What are you playing at, man? Stop it.
Also, please. I've just noticed that on the Chaplain, his holster covers up some of the buttons. So to button them up, you sort of have to awkwardly hold or move it, or just, it would be kind of awkward for him to button it up.
Yeah, he's got to, like, fiddle about under the holster, and it's
he's got to, like, loosen the belt a little bit so he can move it around, then, just sort of awkwardly lean down to the coat. Because, that can't be too easy to do. It's at an awkward angle.
Wow. What a good time.
Also, 2 belts. Have we mentioned that? 2 belts. One wasn't enough.
2 belts. The classic.
He's got a book belt also.
Oh, yeah. A belt around the book, just to keep that closed. Wait a second. No, it isn't even around the book. It's just the belt on the cover of the book. Jeez. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Thanks.
Oh yeah,
guys.
I didn't even see that it wasn't connected. It's just
Yeah.
sort of laying there.
It's just decoration. It's just decoration for the book. Yeah, of course. Thanks. Yeah. No. Is that it? Is that all the 40k news? Is that everything there is to say about fucking Warhammer 40k? We said our piece.
I feel we should say again that some of the things in this release are pretty good.
Okay, yeah, don't want to be all negative. The
Because
Primaris Captain.
we're focusing a lot on Reaper from Overwatch, and we should be equal about this.
The Primaris Captain, the Primaris Librarian look great. The Primaris Apothecary, pretty good. It's just it's just. Yeah, they're good elements. I feel like the best stuff with most of this has been stuff that's just stuck to not trying to be fancy. The Mark X, the standard Mark X power armor is it's a decent basis for stuff. They've proven that with the Librarian, the Captain, the Apothecary. Just when they try to fuck with it, when they try to make it all skinny for the Reavers, when they try to make it all skeletal spooky for Reaver from Overwatch, when they try to make it fat for the Gravis armor. Then it starts getting screwy.
I think we both had the independent thought, as we hadn't spoken to each other, that the reason that they have such strange body types is because the designers are trying to work through their anorexia and/or
They're
obesity.
Yeah, much like the writers of Black Library doing the Horus Heresy books are using it as an outlet for their own father issues. The designers at Citadel Miniatures may be doing it for their own body dysmorphia. That's a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
But,
The captain, though, I'm looking at it now. The captain looks very nice.
Very nice. It's got the classic sort of ultramarine style Roman filigree that works really well.
Yeah.
It's subtle enough. There's enough going on where it looks like, this is a captain, this is a guy in charge, but it's not too much. It doesn't go overboard. Feels right. Feels appropriate.
He is standing on a rock. Is he on the rock? Or is he
I think it's a little bit of like a statue, like a little bit of like a bit.
It's a little bit of debris from an Imperial building.
Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty. It's got a good silhouette. It's a strong pose. I like the look of assault rifle plus sword. The combat bolt rifle plus sword. Looks
I
good,
like
looks
how
strong.
he's sort of pointing his sword forward. He's leading his men almost.
This is a strong heroic pose. This is a strong model. It's a good composition.
It's got a nice sense of motion to it with the cape and the bits of fabric.
There was a time they still haven't they still are doing capes right, because here's how you do capes right. You make it so at the end it tapers off into a corner. That's how you disguise it to make it look like it's a sheet of fabric rather than a thick block. But it's better than a lot of. There was a period where they were getting really bad about it, and it's better than that. So it's decent enough as far as that goes. I feel like they only really figured that out for
the Iron Halo is. The Iron Halo was good. It's
exactly.
It's good.
That's the thing, perfect size, because it looks like this is a classic sort of Halo type thing of this is how you do an armored Halo, right? Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's fine. It's great. It's good. Yeah. There's converted petrol. It's got the different helmets. It's got the pointed hand. Oh, it's good. It's good. They did a thing.
I just like the idea of an Iron Halo because it's, sort of ascribing something holy and inorganic to a sheet of metal that is produced. And it's
great. It's so thematically appropriate for the Space Marines, for the Imperium in general.
I mean, there's kind of an irony to having an Iron Halo.
Yeah, like this. There's this mix. There's this whole field. Yeah, the iron, priestly stuff, religious stuff to all of it. There's the fact that what is essentially comes out like a chunk of metal. Also has like one of the most advanced bits of tech. Like a really powerful energy shield in it. Oh, it's great.
I mean, I think we've talked about before the mix of religious and sci-fi elements within 40k.
Yeah, cool 40k. That's what it's great when it does that. That's why the Atomx is the best part of it, because it mixes that so fucking heavily. It just matches them together more than any other group does. But
I think you can probably see that in award-winning podcast Nobodies on the Noosphere episode 2 from memory. I don't think it was episode 1.
This is episode 2.
Oh yeah, because we had episode 0, didn't we? So it would be episode 1.
Pilot. So maybe back on episode 1, I don't remember at all. All I remember from these is the Willem Dafoe movie pictures.
But when was that? That was like what, February?
It was. It was 2 months ago. It was 2 fucking months ago. I don't know. But, oh well.
I
That's fine.
mean the pilot. When was the pilot?
Let me look on youtube.com/Magos subscribe everybody. 3 months ago. That was 3 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So the gap between episodes is slowly getting larger.
Slowly getting larger, so 3 months till next one, boys. Get hype. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's the term? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah. If we just stop for a year, then everyone will be fucking clamouring for more Nobodies on the Noosphere. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right then. Is that the 40k news then? Is that the 40k stuff? We've said what we need to say.
I've probably said this before, but the Nurgle releases are very nice.
Oh yeah, the Nurgle releases are nice. More stuff coming for them. Hopefully that'll be good. I want to see that there's the Grand Cultivator stuff they keep showing off. There's Mortarion soon. I'm excited for him. Probably going to be a new Typhus. I want to see a new Typhus. The classic Typhus is a brilliant model, but they did Khan justice, I'd say, and they did Araman. They did a really good job for Araman. So I want to see them do that for Typhus, because Typhus I'd say is the best starting point.
What did you think of Magnus the Red?
I liked Magnus Red. I liked Magnus Red a lot personally. I
prefer the Forge Rod, but
I don't like the Forge Rod so much. I talked about this last time. His torso looks too big. Even after release, his torso looks too long. He doesn't have the horns. I really like what they did with Magnus. I like how you had the customization stuff with armor going on. I like how he had the face that you could do him as a full Cyclops. You could do him as a missing one eye guy. You could do him with the mask. I really liked him. I liked him a lot.
I do like how it sort of incorporated the fact that you can incorporate your own headcanon.
Yeah, like the fact that he's changing it works for Zinj. It's just a genius solution of, we never really did confirm, is he a literal Cyclops? Is he missing an eye? What's going on with that? Just said, oh yeah, it's Zinj, fuck it. It's great. It's a good solution. It's really, really thematically appropriate. I like it.
I'm actually quite tempted to buy this Primaris Captain.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
It's very nice.
I might pick him up once I fucking maybe, I don't know. I've been making YouTube videos constantly for a while now, so I don't know. But yeah, we'll do that at some point.
He's got a nice power sword as well. Don't think we said that. It's got a nice power sword.
It's quite nice.
It's got a unique-ish power sword. Don't think I've seen one like that before.
It's got a nice strong cross guard type thing to it. It's got that. It's got that double skull pommel. It's good. Yeah. As far as a sword with 4 skulls in it, it feels very understated about it. It's nice.
It has a lot of skulls, but they don't clutter the model.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, understated.
Unlike both chaplains, both the Terminator and the regular ones.
The Terminator chaplain doesn't clutter it. The Primaris, the Reaper chaplain does clutter the model because it doesn't. The skulls look stupid. They don't clutter it on the classic Terminator chaplain because the classic Terminator chaplain, it all fits together. And I will piece my fucking hilt.
No, I'm talking about the Primaris chaplain Terminator.
What? They're not doing it for Primaris chaplain Terminator. They're doing the skulls.
I thought that was a.
There are no Primaris Terminators. Primaris Terminators don't exist. Pay attention.
Okay, right. But
he's going to be. The idea is he's going to be released with the Grey Knight stuff. I believe that was what the rumor implied.
Which was the one that there was like a weird pay barrier behind.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's going to be released with the Grey Knight's Codex release. Apparently, maybe. Don't quote me on that. If that's wrong, then I blame 4chan. Blame 4chan for saying. But
always blame 4chan. The hackers known as Anonymous.
Yeah,
the hacker known as Anonymous.
The hacker known as 4chins. Blame him.
Yeah. There's over 9,000 of them.
They are legion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right then. We done 40k? We're moving on yet?
Nice I want to reiterate again, the Captain's a very nice model.
Captain's nice, yeah. Captain's good. We done now? We good?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay then. So I mentioned earlier in that discussion, that's a thing we do, isn't it? We do Willem Dafoe movie pictures, don't we?
Well, you do.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, it's a legacy segment of this show. This show has been a long-run show. At least there's been so many episodes of this show. This show's been going on for this show is older than time. This show is one of the oldest 40k podcasts there are at this point, right? Yeah.
It is. I believe so. I haven't checked, but I have that feeling.
And through its whole run, since the very beginning, since the very start of it, we've had a segment where I will deliver a movie pitch with a certain actor you may have heard of called Willem Dafoe. Star of stage and screen. Such a talent.
Yeah. I saw a movie a long time ago. I think it was called the. I can't remember the title of it. It had a guy that smiled in it a lot. I had someone that he had a role in it. Was he the
Smile Man
protagonist of that?
The Smile Man bit isn't a good bit. I don't like it.
It's
I
a
don't like the Smile
fantastic
Man
bit.
I really
We
don't like
need
this.
to keep the bit.
I don't like this sub bit of our glorious legacy section. I don't like the bit where you talk about the Smile Man fucking student film.
We can't abandon the bit.
We can. We should dump it. It's a cancer on the Willem Dafoe movie pit section, and it needs to be fucking exercised.
We are not
It
going
needs to be
to-
fucking cut out. Cut
We are
out
not
this
going to-
tumour.
We are not going to abort this bit.
I've got a Willem Dafoe movie pitch. Do you want to hear it?
No, I feel a bit jaded now. I don't know. If you want to get rid of my bit, fine, go ahead. Whatever. If you want to keep your bit.
Do you want to skip the
ahead.
Willem Dafoe? Are you saying you want to skip our legacy segment? It's been going on since the very dawn of the Nobodies of the Noosphere.
No,
Since
it's
the
fine.
very
It's
dawn.
fine. You keep your bit. No, don't worry about it. You keep
Since
your bit.
the
It's fine.
beginning.
No.
This
Go
legacy.
ahead. No, listen.
This
Go ahead.
ancient
Go ahead.
section. This ancient section. This has been going on for years. A fan favourite for decades at least, I am sure. I haven't checked, but I'm sure decades. It's been a fan favourite. You would, for your petty Mr. Smile Man joke, you would sacrifice it. You would lessen this fantastic pit. Oh, you monster!
Do you know what?
You
It's
cur,
not even.
you
It's not
cur,
even.
you sow.
It's not. It's the principle. You know, if it doesn't matter how good the bit is, if you wanna toss my bit, then I don't think
Your
you
bit's
should
a
have your
bad bit. Your bit's
My
a bad
My bit is fantastic, and I will not hear this.
Mr.
good
Smile, it doesn't have legs. It's not a joke that has legs.
It has-
It worked once. It will never work again.
It has big long legs, and I will not
has
hear
no legs
this
at all.
rubbish. This
It is a quadriplegic. No limbs, just a smile, just a smiling mouth. No face, no head, just a smile.
it has many limbs, just attached to the face.
This is not
Several limbs.
Okay, this isn't the Willem Dafoe movie pitch I was talking about. This is almost more interesting. The one I talked about, which is this Willem Dafoe face head attached to a bunch of spider limbs. It's just Willem Dafoe's face stretched over a spider monster.
That idea is plagiarized from the hit video game Never Dead.
Is it? I don't play video games, but okay,
but-
sure.
But yeah, do you want to go on your movie pitch then? It's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
We could go on with this idea of Willem Dafoe as a horrific spider creature.
Maybe that'll be episode 3. Stay hype. Subscribe
Yeah,
to
stay
the channel.
hyped. You better note that down because that's an important bit. We like a
Okay.
good bit of body horror at the Noosphere.
Yeah. Okay. Then so, I was thinking about how to describe this, and I feel like it's far better to describe this not from the perspective of how the film is made, but from the perspective of an audience member going to see it.
Okay.
So say
Are you going to do a bit of role play here?
a little bit, sort of,
Okay.
So imagine yourself. Imagine it's you. We're gonna do. I imagine the cross-section general audience of the Nobodies on the Noosphere podcast. You're
Okay, so I'm going
white
to have to put myself into the place of a normie.
into the place of the average viewer of this show, not a normie. The average viewer of this
Oh,
show.
okay.
So you're a white male. I'm thinking probably maybe like between 14 and 23. Let's say sort of that range.
To be honest, I think I am the only viewer of this show, so I've already kind of got the
Okay.
that down.
Maybe. One
That's
second.
a good bit. That's a bit I've been going since episode 1 that I'm the only viewer of this show.
It's a
That's
good
a good bit.
But don't interrupt my bit, because I've got this bit here where I just start describing what I imagine it to be, and I just get more and more deprecating about it, and I just start insulting our audience brutally. Now let me do this
Well,
bit.
you
come
just
on.
spoiled the bit then. You could have
That's
just...
the joke. That's the new bit. This part of the bit where I spoil the bit, because it's fine. It's funny being meta in that way. Now we do the fucking bit.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Let's go with the bit.
So, white male, that age range, whatever I said it fucking was. You know, you play Warhammer. You play Warhammer 40k. You go on the internet a lot. You go on 4chan a lot. You use 4chan. You listen to podcasts about Warhammer. You watch a lot of YouTube videos. You know, maybe you're not the most sociable person. Maybe you don't have you've got your friends you play Warhammer with. You've got your FLGS buddies. But you know, maybe you're not so popular with the girls. Maybe you're not so popular with the cool kids about it. You know, maybe you've had some run into some bullies. Maybe you get shoved in a locker from time to time. Maybe you get beat up regularly and deservedly. You know, maybe this happens. Maybe it's a possibility. Maybe you have no sense of hygiene. Maybe you're a disgusting, gross nerd. You know, possibly that. Possibly you listen to a
possibility.
Possibly you listen to a podcast called Nobodies on the Noosphere. But
I mean,
you know,
I'm assuming here that you're currently looking at the statistics for the videos in past, and you can just see all of this. So you're just
exactly.
objectively saying this.
I have the analytics. I can say this for a fact that this is
You
what
can
most
confirm
of you
this.
are.
You have the statistics. You're not trying to insult anyone. You're just being objective. You're just stating the facts as they are.
Just stating the numbers. This is how the bell curve works, okay? So, as I was saying, for the rare time, you don't do it often, but rarely you go out of the house that isn't, straight to the nearest fucking Games Workshop store to buy more shitty plastic toys for children. Maybe you've got out and you decided, I'm going to go to the cinema to watch a movie. You're watching it alone, of course, because, you know, of course you're watching it alone. But you don't really...
You've got the statistics, so you can confirm through several surveys that when this person walks into a cinema, a theatre, that everyone else will run out. They'll move out. Yeah. Just in case.
No one's going to sit by you, just saying. But, you don't
no one's going to sit in your vicinity.
Yeah, you're going to have, at least, you're going to have a row to yourself, guaranteed. Just no one's going to want to, get near that. But, so you decide, and you see on the wall. You don't quite know what you're going to look. Maybe you think, I don't know, I'll watch, whatever fucking new Avengers film there is or something. But then you see on the wall a poster. You see on the wall, one of these little advertised posters they have for the movies that are currently being run in a cinema. And it's got Willem Dafoe's face, smiling, looking at you from the side. And, it's own, you can see him sort of, it looks like he's sort of angled, forward, where his, it's everything, his angle sort of, as it goes down, it goes, forward towards out of shot. It sort of looks like pelvic thrusting, maybe? But you can't really see it, it stops, at the waistline, right? That's where it cuts off.
But you can tell that he is thrusting his groin towards
it's implied, strongly, thrusting his groin just out of shot, right? Okay. It's side-on thrusting, but he's turned to look straight to you in the eyes, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And the title...
I've got the image. He's sort of looking at a 90-degree angle to his right or left.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's got the title of the film. Willem Dafoe, the actor, just pounds some meat. And of course, never mind the Avengers, never mind the new shitty Star Wars film. Star Wars is shit now, they keep making them even worse every single time they're worse. Don't want to watch that, don't want to watch Avengers, who cares? They're going to kill off Tony Stark apparently or something. He's the only interesting one there. Why do you even want to watch it without Iron Man? Not going to watch it anymore. What you're going to do is you're going to cancel, you're not going to buy a ticket to watch whatever shit you were going to watch. You're going to buy a ticket to watch Willem Dafoe whatever I called it, that too long name.
Willem Dafoe just pounding meat, I believe.
Willem Dafoe, the actor, just pounding meat, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the actor bit. Also, I just want to clarify again, this is all analytics here.
This is all analytics.
This is all, and partially horoscopes, because those are with them as well. So.
We may have, I may be in cahoots with some of the gypsies, who do palm readings, some
also
groups who do
partially pornographic viewing habits.
Yeah. Pornhub may be in on this. They may be providing some of the statistics just to help. It's when you agree to Google's terms of service, you agreed for me to see all of that as well. Don't worry, you didn't read it. I know,
it's not that hard to link the dots when you've Googled Willem Dafoe, the actor, pounding meat
Yeah.
repeatedly.
So point is, you go in, you buy a ticket. It costs way too much money, far too expensive. Movies so expensive these days. Just it's a ridiculous thing, you know.
I assume they also saw it in 3D.
Oh yeah, in 3D. In
and
3D,
and with
IMAX,
those
40
chairs
FPS.
that and with the chairs that sort of vibrate when action's happening.
Sure, is that a thing? Is that a thing that cinemas do?
That's a thing. That's a thing.
It's fucking stupid. Okay, sure, yeah. Essentially, you've ended up spending like £30 fucking on this ticket. It's so expensive. This is the kind of thing that drives up piracy.
Popcorn, drinks.
Oh yeah, you bought popcorn. You bought a lot of snacks, like a.
You also bought a hot dog and Doritos with cheese.
You know, like
well.
Enough snacks to make it like abundantly obvious that your weight is your fault, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. We've seen the surveys you filled in where you've specified what you eat when you go to a cinema. We know.
We know. So you go and you sit down. I imagine there's a good few people watching. I imagine this is doing very well. This film will be very successful. People will be watching.
We also know that you've come in. Because you're quite, you're not exactly on top of things, so you've come in just after the movie started, or like just
maybe a little bit,
I don't know.
Yeah,
you
were in the bathroom for a while, right? You were in the bathroom for quite a long time, but
it took a while for them to give you your snacks and everything. It took some time.
Yeah, but so you're in there and yeah, it's just started, and you see like it starts. That's how it sort of starts off. Like it's just a little bit fast, and it's like it starts like a really like it's a shot of an eye, like really close up eye, like so close up, like it's just like the pupil and a little bit of like the iris of it.
Is it in 4K so you can see it? In,
4K,
very high definition.
4K, 40 something FPS,
UHD.
IMAX. Yeah. And again, 3D, all the shit. And it's very slowly panning out. Almost messed up there. Panning out. And
it's almost like an art film, seemingly.
Yeah. And as it comes together, you see sort of like this you see the whites of it. You see the bloodshot whites of the eye. Then you sort of start seeing the eyelashes. Then you start seeing the wrinkled eyelid. Then you start seeing the whole sort of the sections of the nose, and you're seeing this goblin-esque face. Goblin's face, and you realise at this point sort of it's not quite perfectly still. It's going back and forth a bit, like it has a little bit of like side to side, a little bit of motion to it, right?
Can you see the mouth at this point, or is it still?
It just about like reaches the top lip,
Okay, yeah.
And by this point, it's clear this is none other than famed Hollywood actor, star of stage and screen, star of Spider-Man 2. No, Spider-Man 1.
And the
Spider-Man 1,
smiling
not
man.
Spider-Man 2.
And the smiling man. Don't forget the smiling man.
Yeah, star of Spider-Man 1. The man who said, "Join me, Spider-Man, and we can rule Gotham City together." Yeah, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps panning out, and you see its face. All his face is now visible. You can see his mess of hair, but very smooth, very smooth. It's clearly had a lot of treatment done to make this the makeup people have done a brilliant job of his hair,
Probably like hair plugs as well, just so the hair doesn't look,
Maybe hard to tell, but it's totally seamless, Like it's just a beautiful mane of hair he has.
Mm-hmm. It's probably artificial de-aging as well.
Possibly. Either way, compliments to the makeup department. Just magnificent work. But then
great job.
and it keeps panning out. You're seeing his neck. You're seeing his leathery, flappy, wrinkly neck.
Yeah.
And it keeps panning out a bit more. You start seeing the shoulders. Start seeing the collar of him, and you realise he's not wearing a shirt. No shirt.
Mm-hmm.
In the poster, he was wearing like a dress suit. He's not there anymore. He's no shirt. Or at least nothing on the shoulders, nothing on the collar. Keeps panning out. Clear. No shirt. Nothing. Keeps panning out. By this one, it's been about like 25 minutes. Okay?
So this is a very slow pan.
A very slow pan.
But I'm assuming it's in such high quality that this hypothetical person was
entranced. They're entranced.
Entranced.
Yeah.
All they need is some moving images, and they're off.
Every wrinkle, every pore, every one of the many, many, many blemishes on Willem Dafoe's
Yeah, every sort of
Willem Dafoe's
black hair spot.
aged body. You can see them all later there.
I assume you can also tell. Apart from the face, there was no makeup done. As soon as it went to the neck, there was no makeup.
Yeah. Stops there. Yeah, there's a clear line of where it stops.
Yeah.
You know, like at this point, like as you can see, like it reaches, you know, the nipple, and you start to see like a bit of motion starts happening. You know, there's already been like a little bit of strength. It starts like panning. He keeps his face directly trained at you, directly trained at the camera, directly trained at you, as if he's staring into your soul. Very rarely blinking. Like he's blinking, but it's rare. You know.
I assume it's sort of like a perspective thing, so it always looks like he's looking at you.
Exactly. Perfect. And he starts to tilt his body to the right a bit, you know, sort of like how it looked in the poster.
Mm-hmm.
Like very slowly, and he's keeping his eyes trained on you, and you know, it keeps panning out. Another 15 minutes passes, and it's reached the bottom of like his rib cage to stomach sort of bit. And, you know, you can see now, it's turned down enough where you can see, yeah, it's clear, but he's doing a thrusting motion. He's doing a pelvic thrusting motion.
Is there also hand action going on? Is he sort of, thrusting with his hands as well?
It's almost like his hands are a little bit held ahead of him. You can't quite make it out. You can't see his hands yet, you know, they're down.
Okay.
But you see his arms are a little bit ahead of him.
We haven't panned out that far yet.
Not quite yet. And, like, for all this time, like, it's been, like, a very sort of, like, sort of like an underwater sound effect, and very quiet, but it's slowly been getting louder, and now it starts to become a little bit more clear, it starts to become a little bit more audible, you know? It's sort of like this, like, I can't really simulate this sound, but, can you hear that at all?
Yeah, I can hear that. I can hear it.
That's sort of the sound you're hearing now. And,
okay. But so there was no... Was there no audio before? Could you hear him sort of grunting before?
I stated, no. Listen to what I fucking say, goddammit. I explained this specifically before the thing. It's very quiet, and it's slowly getting louder and louder and louder, but it's sort of sounding like an underwater type thing, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, it's very muffled. But by the, 35-minute mark or wherever we are, that's what it sounds like, or the 40-minute mark or something. So it goes through another 15 minutes. Passes the stomach, reaches the pelvis. He's now fully horizontal except for his head, which is 90 degrees at you. You can see, he's clearly thrusting forward, and you can see like his hands, they're just out of shot, but it seems like he's holding something just by the groin region, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can see that his hands are sort of, angled that way.
And at this point, everyone's expecting what's coming next. They all think they figured it out. They think, oh yeah. I know what's going to happen. We're going to see Willem Dafoe.
This hypothetical person thinks they're so intelligent and smart that they figured it out. That they know what's going to happen next.
Yeah. They think what's going to happen is it's going to pan out. You're going to see Willem Dafoe fucking a lump of meat. That's what they think is going to happen.
I mean, as the title suggests.
As the title implies,
Yeah. Well.
But what happens? Hard, quick pan, quick round pan behind him.
Is this quick in comparison to the rest of the panning? Or
Really
is this
quick.
Actually quick?
Like really quick. It's not like a cut, but it's really quick pan around.
Okay. Yeah.
It seems like what they did, they didn't do like a thing where they moved the camera. It seems like that thing they did in the Matrix where they had like that one like spin around scene where Neo like
does, they just had like loads of cameras around.
Exactly.
It, and they all...
they had that like for a 90-degree angle so they could do this whole flip. So because it's super high, super high frame rate, you can see all of it. Every frame you see, no blurring at all. Beautiful bit rates here.
Beautiful, gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yeah.
No lossless.
Lossless.
No loss.
And he's still got his face 90 degrees to him, so now it's in profile.
Mm-hmm.
And it continues to pan out. Another 10 minutes keeps panning out, but now you can't see it. It's censored by his arse. You're seeing Willem Dafoe, the Hollywood actor's arse. You maybe see a little bit of balls, maybe.
Okay,
but,
just a tad, just a little.
And he's pelvic thrusting into something, but you don't see it. It never shows you.
Okay.
Because the thing is. It's a mystery. That's the point of it. Okay, the rest of the film is just the full pan out until you see him entirely naked, just thrusting forward. That's the rest of the film. That's the next hour and a half. It just pans out. You see all of his legs. You see him thrusting forward, and then it cuts. It hard cuts. You never see what he's fucking. The audience always thinks there's gonna pan back around. You're gonna see what he's fucking. Never shows you, because it's like in Blade Runner. You never know if Harrison Ford's character is an android or not. Much like you never know for sure what Willem Dafoe is pelvic thrusting into.
You never know if Deckard is a
replicant.
Replicant.
Never sure. And you're never sure what Willem Dafoe was balls deep in for that entire 2-hour experience.
I mean, for all you know, it could be illegal what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. What happens is, like, by like the hour mark, it's panned out fully, and then it just starts off a slow fade that lasts an hour long. It stays static, him thrusting for the next hour as it slow fades out into black.
So it's so slow that you almost can't notice it happening?
You don't notice. You wouldn't notice until, like, it's halfway, then you realise, wait, it's like halfway to dark. Like, there's the thing, because it started out totally pitch black, because it was in his iris, it was in his pupil, the pupil of his eye, then it's panning out. Now it's the fade out. Now it's the fade out. It's art. It's a fucking artistic masterpiece.
And of course the hypothetical viewer will hate it, because it didn't have Iron Man in it.
Oh yeah, of course, they don't get it, but, that's fine.
They don't understand.
They're all Philistines, a lot of them. And that was, Willem Dafoe, the actor, pounds something meat or whatever. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that pitch may have been done entirely, so I wouldn't have to do the Willem Dafoe voice much at all. But
Yeah, well, you did it once, and I
did it once.
I could hear sort of blood spurting out of your throat.
Yeah, I did it once for the preamble bit, talking about his starring role in Spider-Man 1. But yeah.
Where he said, Spider-Man, if you join me, then we can rule Gotham City together.
Yeah. So wrestling's a thing we talk about on this podcast, right? You don't even watch wrestling anymore, do you?
No, it's really, really shit. It's just terrible. Like, it's not even. I mean, Jinder Mahal is still champion. He's still the.
Seriously?
Yeah, he's still there. And it's kind of like, I kind of want to watch this just to see how much they're going to fuck it up.
What's even his character? He is the Middle Eastern Indian guy.
Indian man. Hates America.
Oh, of course he does.
The Great Khali came back.
Oh, wow. What a
to assist Jinder Mahal.
Wow.
To assist Jinder Mahal from
of course he did.
from Small Snake.
Oh, of course. Wow.
But it's just not even funny bad anymore. It's like there's a difference between watching The Room and watching the Emoji Movie. One is funnily bad and one's just a war crime.
The Room is a work of art. I've been
listening. It is.
I've been listening to the audiobook. I think it's called Disaster Artist: My Life Inside the Room.
I listened to that.
Because they're making a film of it, so I got the audiobook. I haven't finished it yet, so
I think you saw the trailer for.
I have, I'm excited for that film, and the audiobook's great. 'Cause it's written by and narrated by the guy that played Mark.
Mark. Hi Mark. Anyway,
hi Mark.
How was your sex life?
Yeah, it's The Room is a good time, but unlike
wrestling is not
crap. Yeah,
it is.
What does Bray Wyatt do anymore? He's just
nothing.
He cheated on his wife, right?
Well, you won't believe this, but every night he comes out and he assaults Stephanie McMahon.
That's a spoiler. It's a spoiler. You can't spoil that.
It's a meta bit. Don't worry about that.
It's a meta bit. But I heard he cheated on his wife, right? That was a thing. And I
don't know. Was it? I
think that was a bit like a month and a half ago. Oh god, it's been so long. That's fine.
He cheated on his wife with the fridge. He just.
Yeah. So what we're saying now is this is the formal, for now at least, goodbye to our long running wrestling segment, because I never watched wrestling, and now typically Steve doesn't watch wrestling either. So, adieu, old friend. You are good to us, but you're shit now,
I mean,
and we don't care anymore.
let's be fair here. The height was the House of Horrors match. It was all downhill from there.
Yeah, we talked about that in episode 1, right? That was
I think we did. It was either that or we both thought of it at the same time.
Yeah. Okay then. We got our content worth. So yeah, that's adieu, farewell, la mer, old friend. It's dead now, but that's fine. What else are we doing in the show? Video games or something? You've been playing
video
Deus
games
Ex a bunch or something.
So I'm gonna hand in my Chief Wrestleboy badge, and I'm picking up the Chief Video Game Boy badge. That's gonna be the new badge.
Oh boy, that's exciting. That's some character development right here, truly.
Yeah.
Truly
Character development.
Some character evolution right here, you know.
Yeah. Much like Deckard in Blade Runner.
Not really, but you know, yeah.
He had development.
I mean, you know, you've been playing a bunch of Deus Ex, you've changed your name on Discord to Adam Jensen, just have a picture of Adam Jensen now, which was where that mistake earlier came in.
I've been on the Deus Ex Discord.
Yeah.
So that's
Are you the only Adam Jensen there? It's just all of them Adam Jensen?
No, I'm the only one there.
That sounds horribly autistic, but that's good.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very autistic. You have no idea.
A Discord group to surpass the Primaris in concentrated autism.
Yes, it's. Oh, you have no idea, really.
I want to know knowledge, but I mean, if you want to, but then maybe that's a good bit for the show. I do want knowledge if it's good for the audience, if the audience will find it entertaining, but hey.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said then. I was thinking about autism.
if the audience would find that entertaining, you think, then sure, actually, yeah, do talk about it, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty autistic. It's mainly just memes and occasionally not safe for artwork in
the
God.
Channel. No, this is a Christian podcast. We can't talk about that. No.
This is a child-friendly environment.
This is an orthodox cult mechanicus traditions podcast here. We do not respect the flesh nor pleasures of it. Talk about the video, okay?
I mean, you did say before that our audience could be 14-year-olds, so.
Yeah, probably. Probably most of them are. I suspect most of them are young, ignorant, stupid children. Yeah.
Yeah, who really like Marvel.
Yeah, but a big fan.
And think there should be female Space Marines.
Oh god, we're not getting into that. That's we can do a later episode that's all about that, but no. Talk about Deus Ex.
Yeah, so Deus Ex is a kind of strange thing in development because it was originally created by.
Okay, one sec.
Okay, yeah. I'll just continue.
Yeah, you carry on this bit. I've got to go do a thing. I'll be back in a bit. This is just a bit where you monologue a bit, so it's fine. Okay, no one will know.
Yeah, it's fine. This is my bit.
Okay, carry this show for a bit. Okay.
Yeah. So the idea for Deus Ex floated around for a while by the project lead Warren Spector, who also was project lead on a bunch of other games that you've probably heard of, like Thief. He also did some stuff on the Ultima series, I think. I'd have to check that, but just. Thief, System Shock, cool stuff like that. But eventually the idea for Deus Ex got picked up by the company Ion Storm, which is famous for Daikatana. Kind of ironic that one of the company that produced what's considered one of the worst games also produced what's considered one of the best. But he sort of got his own team so they could start work on this project. So the development of Deus Ex was a pretty turbulent one, to say the least. Essentially, everyone on the team had a completely different idea for what the project wanted to be, which eventually split off into three teams, which wanted to make the best shooter, the best RPG, and the best adventure game. Or the best stealth game, rather. So that eventually sort of consolidated onto what we have now, which is a strange mix of those different gameplay elements and interactive story.
Hey there, don't mind me. You keep going on your thing. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, I'll keep going. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So, even at the time Deus Ex was never really a technical powerhouse. It was really just about the gameplay. The environments were mainly just quite blocky. The main draw of it, if you will, was the gameplay, the interactive story, and, as I said before, the sort of melding of all these different elements. One thing that remains pretty successful today is the protagonist, JC Denton, which, as was explained in, I believe it was a developer interview somewhere, you can probably find it on the Deus Ex main channel, he intentionally gave the voice actor for him direction to be as monotone as possible because the game was all about player choice, so they didn't know what the player was going to be feeling. So a lot of the memes, the mimetic humour, the jokes in it come from JC Denton being incredibly deadpan when dealing with situations that would normally call for emotion. One of the jokes that often goes around is JC Denton has autism, which is actually kind of supported by the story because he's emotionally stunted and a clone.
What a shame.
Yep. So the line Magos just brought up is in relation to the fact that you can kill sort of like a guy in early 20s father, then he'll just say, what a shame, after murdering this man for no reason, really.
A bomb?
Yeah, a bomb. There's a bit with a bomb in it, and he says a bomb. So shortly after, well, not shortly, but a certain amount of time after this was released,
Maybe
the
you
game...
should get a job.
Yeah, JC Denton is a supporter of the capitalist agenda. He dislikes communism. Yeah, this was Deus Ex was pretty successful for its day, and it eventually spawned a sequel called Deus Ex Invisible War. This not typically regarded too well. Lost a lot of the personality of the first one. Had a bit more of a generic story, in my opinion. It was also heavily neutered, I guess, for console releases. The engine it ran on was coincidentally the same engine that Thief Deadly Shadows ran on, which meant that on PC, every time it loaded it crashed to desktop, and then reloaded the game.
Wow.
So it's really not the best sequel in the world. I wouldn't exactly say it's a bad game on its own, but
like people like saying like actually maybe it's okay now, right? I know.
well, that's the thing that the Rageaholic said.
I know, like, yeah, recently, sorry, no, I know recently a bunch of people have been like maybe saying like maybe got a bad rap, right? I don't know.
I mean, it got a bad rep because it was the sequel to the greatest video game ever released.
Fair enough.
So it's hard to top that. Then later there was basically it was announced there was a Deus Ex 3 coming out. The trailer basically featured a fetus that had mechanical augmentation, which was featured in the first game, but because it was on a fetus, it's kind of implied that Deus Ex 3 was going to be a prequel to Deus Ex 1. No one really knew anything about the game for a good couple years until until an announcement trailer was released, which showed a bit more of the game off. The fact that the game was going to take place in 2027, the protagonist, just sort of the general art style of the game, the sort of gold filter. I'd say it's a bit. I'd probably say it's a bit more cyberpunky than the first Deus Ex, if that makes sense. It's got more of those sort of elements to it.
New Renaissance was the thing they were.
Yeah, the cyber Renaissance. You can find a bunch of. Then I've got the bloody art book here, so I could just look at that. But you can find a bunch of interviews with panels with the art director who talks about it. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, the developers talked about how they received death threats over this because people assumed that it was just going to be they were going to tarnish the good memory of Deus Ex, and some people do still think that. just because it wasn't.
Oh, well, cherry bakewells are really good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, cherry bakewell too, they got like a top, it's got like a little jam in it. It's got icing sugar, it's got a bit of like cherry bit, like a dried cherry bit on it. It's nice.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, on release, it was well received pretty well critically. Generally, people were pretty disliked the gold filter that the game had. Much like the first one, it spawned a fair few mimetic things, jokes, such as "I never asked for this," "Yeah, comma, rip," just things like that. There was also shortly after it a sort of a expansion release for it called The Missing Link, which kind of bridged the gap between an area in the game where the protagonists sort of went dark and you sort of didn't. It never specified what happened to him at that time. But again, The Missing Link was pretty well received. I think it's quite good. It kind of looked at a lot of the mistakes that the main game made and improved upon them. People weren't too happy with the ending, because it was just 3 choices. And it just showed you a short video of essentially what the character thought was going to happen.
It didn't, because they said, oh no, not really actually, when they wanted a sequel, right?
Yeah. It was quite interesting in the developer commentary for the game, which was released in the director's cut, which came out a bit later. They actually said they just straight up ran out of time for the ending. So it's like, let's do this.
What a shame.
Yeah, the turbulent, much like the first Deus Ex, the development of Deus Ex 3 was a turbulent one. There was a story shared again in the developer's commentary, where fairly close to release, they had an issue where characters weren't able to properly hold phones and things in their hands, so they just sort of clip into their wrists. There was another issue where, when they're showing it off at an E3, the AI just wasn't working.
Not to rush you, but for this bit, I mean, I'm at my last cherry bakewell, so probably get onto the last game now before the joke of this gets ruined.
Yeah, okay.
Right, cool.
Yeah, so then a couple years later, maybe 3, I don't know. The next Deus Ex was announced. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. It also came with something that people are pretty up in arms about, called Augment Your Pre-Order. You can find better places to talk about that. It's pretty egregious, thanks Square Enix. But yeah, the game was released 5 years after the release, the third one. It got delayed for 6 months, I believe. I was pretty fucking hyped for this game. I was incredibly hyped for this. There was a comic released alongside it, and I just fucking bought all that, bought all the covers, because I'm an autistic weirdo.
Wow.
And yeah, it came out. On PC, there were issues where it wasn't running well for people, because it looks good. I don't know. I personally really enjoyed the game. I thought it was really good. Definitely better than 3. I'd say of the series, it's probably got the best gameplay. Not necessarily the best story or the interactive level, but I'm going to say it has the best gameplay. It also nicely developed the story and the sort of sub-story going on with the Illuminati and Majestic 12, Bob Page, all that stuff. But then the more recent news is that because it didn't perform very well, mainly due to microtransactions that were added by Square Enix, that the series has been put on hold in preference of the same team making a Marvel Marvel game. So that's the story of Deus Ex. What a turbulent one it is, and kind of a sad one.
Wow. Wow.
Also
Nice meal.
the art style is really good. In Mankind Divided has good stuff. It kind of
Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah.
what next? What are we gonna do? What do we do? We'd like reviews of things. We did like a review of an audiobook, like the pilot. Did we do a review at all in the first episode? I don't remember.
I don't think we did. I think the review segment was sort of taken up by the wrestling segment, or was it?
Yes.
Something went longer. I'm not sure.
Righto, fuck it. Let's talk about one of my favourite movies. Might be my favourite movie. How to say? It's definitely up there, regardless. A film called Stalker. It's a Russian art film, and that name you're probably more familiar with it from the video game Stalker, Clear Skies, Stalker Call of Pripyat. You know, it's the one. It's the cheeky breaky meme one, right? It's the so-called Russian Fallout, right? I mean,
I've played that. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah, it's good games, and the thing is that game is based on the film Stalker, and very loosely on the film Stalker, and that film Stalker is very loosely based on a book called something about picnics or something. I don't remember.
I was just gonna say I thought it was based on a book, but I may be thinking of Metro.
Yeah. Again, yeah. As I say, the film that Stalker is based off is also based on a book. So you know, it's if you go down the chain far enough. But either way, this film the Russian government themselves didn't like it too much because it had a bit of a not so supportive of that whole high authoritarian, horrible communist regime type thing that was going on at that time. But you know, don't worry about that. Either way, the basic premise of the film is, you know, you've got this like area that's, you know, like all irradiated and shit, and like mysterious event happened. This was before the Chernobyl disaster, which makes the you know, all of the shots that look like they're out of that, and like the shot of a nuclear power plant near the end, scarily prophetic seeming. But you know, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Either way, point is, it's got the idea is there's this zone, and in the zone there's a bunch of weird shit that happens, and it's very dangerous, and the government doesn't allow anyone in there. But there are people who act as guides for the place, and people want to go there. People want these guides because the rumor is that in the center of the zone is something called the room, and if you get to that room, then it will grant you a wish. So people want these people to go there, and the guy that acts as the guide in this movie is a guy whose his name in there is Stalker, hence the name of the thing. That's his little code name bit. So it brings along, and he ends up bringing along a writer guy and a professor guy, and the song is essentially about it's the first bit of it's, you know, it's sort of the setup to this, and then it's, you know, there's sort of the most actiony scene there is the breaking into the zone. And after that, once they get into the zone, like, and all up to that, it's all black and white. And once they get into the zone, like, it fades into color. So, you know, a lot of dramatic stuff going on there. And beyond that point, it becomes a very, very slow movie. It's a movie that has very little dialogue, very little stuff going on. It's not afraid to just have a scene of just having Stalker just laying in the grass and breathing for a bit, or having the characters sitting by a stream for a bit and just waiting for minutes. It's very slow. It's a very much a tone piece in that regard. It's all about the feeling of it.
It sets a mood.
Yeah. You know, like, you know how like in Stalker games you have like these little like metal nuts that you can throw around to like test for anomalies.
Yeah.
Like that's based on the thing of the Stalker has like these 3 metal nuts with a little bit of cloth tied around them that he can throw to try and figure out anomalies. But he's got to, you know, retrieve them and shit. And yeah. That's sort of an obstacle thing, and the anomalies they find tend to be more like time distortion stuff, or like slightly spooky stuff, you know, not like electricity going off and gravity explosion pits like in the video games. You know, that's the point of the film. It's going through the journey, and like like so the twist in the end is the guy that taught Stalker like how to be the guy called Porcupine, I believe. If I'm remembering it right, it's been a little bit since I've seen it, but he went into the room and he got his wish, and he went there because he wanted to bring his brother back to life. But that's not how the wish granting works. The wish granting grants your innermost wish. So what happened was, he came back, he left the room, and he became fabulously rich. Because that's what he actually wanted. And then, of course, he ends up... And then he ends up killing himself, so, yeah, because of the guilt of... oh, jeez, I guess that's what I actually wanted. Fuck, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I'm like, didn't really want him back anyway. Got all his money now.
Well, yeah, no. That's how it goes. That's the video, that's the film. I ain't gonna spoil like what happens at the end. No spoilers. This is a spoiler-free review.
That sounds pretty good. I might watch that.
It's a fantastic film. You can get it on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. You know, it's all in Russian, so it's all subtitled. So you gotta read. There's no dub, but it is one of my favorite films. Might be my favorite. It's definitely up there. You know, top 3 certainly. I love it a lot. You should watch it. It's a good thing. 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. Yeah. Alright then. That's our review. That's a podcast. We did a podcast.
It's run a bit short. I've just realised.
No, it doesn't run a bit short. But this episode 1 ran far too long. It was 2 fucking hours. It's a nightmare. This is fine. Nothing is wrong with this. This is okay. We're done now. Goodbye.
I'm going to keep my audio running because, much like last time, there might be a little bit you can throw in. And it might be good if you can throw this bit in, because that's a little bit, a little bit meta.